Okay, got it. I'm in. Let's let it rip. Go ahead, Coach.
Hi, everyone. Today is our Tuesday look ahead with what's going on in equities and different sectors in equities. I'm joined by Michael Venezia. And our topic today, I want to get started with, is the Russell. So we've had dramatic bull runs, Mike, and there's S&Ps still making new all-time highs. There's NASDAQ doing it. There's a Dow doing it. And the Russell has been moving sideways since last spring. And finally looks like it wants to resolve itself to the upside. What does this mean to you, Mike, where people are starting to rotate in, and it took all of the strength of every other index for Russell to finally, and they haven't quite done it yet, about to make new highs for the move?
What it tells me, listen, it tells me two things. One, the obvious thing, it's the place to be. The second thing, what it does, it tells me it's a crowded thought and a crowded trade. It does. Well, as we say, I'm coming across as the screen as a Dow, the NASDAQ and the S&P make new highs. It's like we said this morning in TradeGATEHub. I think that the strength of the market after earnings season dissipates, and we're in the middle of it now, if you will. And by the way, as I put in TradeGATEHub, a lot of key stocks today did reverse. You know, I'm not saying these new FANG stocks and leaders did, but Pfizer was up $3, is now negative. I came in a stock short today that was up $1. You know, NTR. It's basically the big the head fertilizer stock. Now, once again, I'm trading the sexy stocks just like all of us. But in order for the market to hold these highs, and I don't think even Miss Helene would disagree with, everything at this level is stretched, and stocks are acting on selling the news. And that's what, by the way, I've been posting this gamma. If people have to articulate themselves with this theory, if you will. I did myself. And by the way, it's one of the top 3 or 5, whatever you want to call it. It's really irrelevant. Trust me, driving the market right now. And everybody is selling, you know, the news is getting sold. And when the gamma is up here, they sell the pops.
So isn't it possible, Mike, that they're rotating into the junk now? I always heard that when, you know, tertiary stocks, and I'm not saying the Russell 2000, you know, that they're junky stocks. I'm just saying that they've been the underperformers. And then when you get, you even brought it up, Hertz went bankrupt, and where's it trading now, Mike? You said 190?
160, you know,
from bankruptcy.
I'll write it down. I'll show it after.
Okay.
That says that, you know, I don't apologize for interrupting, but I just want to give props to Helene that, you know, you have to put fundamentals. The majority of things don't make sense, or else there'd be just one algorithm out there where everybody wants a piece of. With that being said, is price action does trump sentiment. I know cars bankrupt, but the stock's going up 14 days in a row. What am I going to, you know? You know what I mean?
You trade the momentum.
Well, I'm not buying it here, but I was buying it, but I'm definitely not short. I'm not the piker shorting it like trying to make hard money like I did the first third of my career. Somehow I got by, but you know.
You know, I wanted to bring this up because I brought it up last week, and I said I thought there was a good chance that the NASDAQ 100 would make new all-time highs, which you know, when I pull up the chart here, here's the weekly, here's the daily. We're at new all-time highs. We took out this, you know, 15.6, 15.7 level on our way to 16,000. But I see a few cracks. I said, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if the NASDAQ 100 made a new high without Apple so far. I thought that might happen without Amazon.
Coach, we discussed. I apologize for interrupting. We discussed it literally 5 seconds before we went on the air. What's the stock that's holding the market up? There's 2 of them now. It's Microsoft.
Microsoft has been a monster, right?
Microsoft is holding the market up. There we go, and so is Tesla.
Tesla is a parabolic, unbelievable move. You know,
Amazon. Sir, look at Amazon. Amazon's been a short. Look, Amazon's below everywhere, I believe. Look, I mean, that went for. So who would have thought that with Amazon precipitously off the high and under every moving average, and it's a short, in my opinion,
that the market would still hold up?
Well, Apple. Let's go to. It used to be Amazon and Apple, and
right.
So punch up Apple, yeah. So now it's shifted. No, Google's hanging in there, and I don't know. That may be something underlying with Google, but it's basically getting back to the initial statement. It's Microsoft and it's Tesla. Even Google's well, maybe even Google flinches, but the Nasdaq is making all-time highs. But even that, I don't want to say crack, but even that's flinching. So that's why everybody's running to the IWM, which, by the way, I think is a crowded trade at this point. Well, we'll see. I'm not going to short it, but we'll see.
Do you think it's crowded because during this 6-8 month range of sideways that people have been accumulating it, or it's crowded because now it's going to get a lot of attention because it's finally on the verge of making new highs?
Well, I think the market is extended, and I'm not saying I'm not trying to pick a top. I'm saying extended. Yeah. That doesn't mean short. It means I don't know. I might buy the pullback. I'm not sure yet. With that being said, I just think that with everything extended here, and the first sign of a flinch, I think that people will sell those as well.
Yes. All right. Could the Fed be the flinch?
No, I don't. I think it depends. It's either the Fed, and we'll see how they react, and then the end of earnings season, because then I see few catalysts until the end of the year.
Okay, and seasonally, this is a very strong time of the year, correct?
Well, it doesn't matter. Seasonality. I wanted to say this. I think I said it in my video yesterday. I'm not even sure, but I'll say it again. Seasonality went out the window. Seasonality, the time for us to flinch, we didn't flinch seasonality on the downside. It lasted a day and a half. So, we were talking about again on air about a little bit of intuition. The seasonality, that theme is over for me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yes, we are strong, and hence why we're making new highs now. But seasonality for a long time has not lasted more than a week or two, and I don't want to miss anything out there.
You ever hear this old Wall Street saying that the bears feast on Thanksgiving and the bulls on Christmas?
Right. There's also one about
archaic,
Rosh Hashanah and Easter.
Oh yeah, buy on Rosh Hashanah, sell on Yom Kippur.
Right. There's everything. The day before Thanksgiving is bullish because everybody. Oh, there's 1,000 of them.
Everyone's on L-tryptophan, and then they fall asleep and get margin calls. So I want to ask you, what was it about the biotechs? And I'll put, maybe you could take over the screen here, Mike.
Sure, definitely.
And last week, when there was some softness in the market before the last charge, they've been kind of out of favor. What was it that first brought your attention to the biotechs? And I believe LABU, that's an ETF on Coach, the biotechs.
It is. Can you switch screens so I can share?
I have to stop sharing.
Yeah. I know you don't like to share, but this is important.
What good is anything until it's shared with another?
Well, believe me, I agree. All right, so let's look at, I'm short DWAC, by the way. That one I'm short.
Okay, so I'm waiting for you to share your screen.
Oh, okay, hold on.
Green button.
Share. Let's go to TradeGATEHub. Okay.
There you go.
Well, first of all, let's digress for a second. I'm not going to forget the LABU trade because I'm watching as we speak. And I wanted to say that for anybody that's listening, I'm not going to apologize for repeating myself because it's important for anybody new. The most important, and I shouldn't be, nobody that wants to make a living trader should be biased any day of the week or any time of the week. But the most important data, and once again, it might be more data, but we always stress here on TradeGATEHub, not to sound pitchy, is it's quality over quantity. So with that being said, is Monday morning, which was yesterday, we put out the most amount of data. And like I said, I want people to go either back and look at the data or go back to the video, because the data early in the week it doesn't become obsolete. It's almost like a rolling chart or a rolling trade. So as a chart that I post on Monday, for example, the Goldman indicator that looks stretched, if the market goes up another, if we're making new all-time highs, that it might be stretched even further. So that may, eventually what I want everybody to do is for the training wheels to come off and not even need these indicators, and for them eventually to have these indicators we put to be able to become where you and I thank God, and we put in our dues. It's to become an intuition. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So with that being said is, what gave me the LABU trade? So this is what I've been looking, and I posted these on Monday, which was yesterday. This was the XBI, and we are at the lower end of the range. Let me go to my other, share the other screen here. I was bullish on the market. Don't get me wrong. In general, I thought we were going to have a pop. And that's where I started buying it, where that little, that dash which was like 3 days ago, 50 and change, which by the way, I know LABU is a decent option. I mean, I know it's a triple ETF, but 50 is a nice round option number for me to start a position. It took off from there. And then I just, I worked it through the channel. And I like the way that other stocks were. Yeah, I like the way that other stocks were acting. And even these, as you said, it started to get a little speculative. Well, it is a little speculative out there. And you know what? They love to go. There's nothing more that traders love speculation more, baby bios. And I thought that would help propel it. And a bunch of them went and some of them didn't, but that helped move the trade up. And I'm out of the majority of, as you can see, it's still in the chart here. All the moving average, all the moving average, the 8, the 20, and the 50-day right here. Maybe I scaled that of half. Maybe I should leave a 20% runner into the end of the year, but the market's a little extended. It's not that sexy of a trade. It was kind of a weak trade. But next, as we say, I'm out.
So baby bio, is that based upon market cap, Mike?
Yes. Or in short volume. Yeah. Whatever might propel a decent move up. And as I said to you before, again, when we went on the air, this LABU, I did sell a bunch of it on the open, and it was down $2 at one point, I believe. Yeah, this is LABU this morning. It was at 57 when I said, thank God I sold the LABU. And right now it's 58, 59. It's a $2. That's a huge move.
It's popping as we're talking.
Yeah, it is popping as we're moving. You know what? And I had a problem with the IB today. See, I have today 1 minute. For some reason, it's giving me yesterday at 12:30. It's messing up my charts. I've spent more time. Well, I'm being selfish. I've spent more time on charts the past 2 days than a while. But let me go back to a different share, the TGH. All right. So this is the data we give out. It's an amalgam. It's a compilation of some paid websites, of some of my peers, of guys on my Twitter feed. As I said a million times, I follow 43 people, and once again, not to be redundant, it's quality over quantity. And I don't think I don't hear many people arguing, including people at my level and thankfully greater, that have any problem.
How long did it take you to curate a list like this? Years?
Well, it's like, what it is, Coach. I'm not being dramatic. It's a relationship. When I go to somebody, and I go to Adam Mancini, and by the way, I'm not the only one. If the guy's 100,000 followers and he's very good, he posts an hour ago. I've been following him for 2 years. It's like I said, it's like a relationship. I don't have time to think to question if his opinion is valid at the moment. So why I only follow 43 people is because I know their personality. Whether they're right or wrong, it's just my universe. And
but initially, how do you find them, and how long do you watch them, and what makes you decide to include them in your feed, your list?
Well, I start with people that a lot of people follow. For example, Wall Street Jesus is followed by 127,000 people, and he's also followed by the majority of people. Listen, I follow only 40 people. He half the people I follow him. So then I go to, who does Jesus follow? Well, he's bad because he has 7,000 followers. But let me go to somebody that's more intimate. Let me go, who else follows him? Let me go to IPO Dave, a great guy. You have to really get this guy. It took me years before I even got to talk to him. But he follows 43 people. So I say, IPO Dave's a sharp dude. Let me see look, I just sold DWAC puts right there. That's good. So that's going lower. See the bottom right, winner. So if he follows bio stocks, I follow bio stocks. As a matter of fact, this morning, I actually said that bio stocks was a feed that you should start following right here. Go here for bio news. And that was, I think, yesterday or whatever, a day ago. So I'm trying to, just give you as many people as possible to follow. It's not an ego thing. It's just less is better. Long HTZ here. It's just less is better. And guys that move markets as well. Listen, they're guys that I'm not going to overdo it, but Walter Bloomberg is one of them. Obviously, this morning I use them. Open Outcrier is followed by 70,000 people, and he's followed by the majority of guys I follow. So we're sharp traders.
And they usually don't follow many people. They just let that account grow. I forgot what the word is called. The word is, Mike, where you just let it grow. I don't know, generically, or you're not following people to get followers. They're
No,
only
I don't know.
right.
No, I'm using this. Listen, it cost me 2,500 a month to Bloomberg to have the majority of my life. I wouldn't,
Right.
if I was stranded on the proverbial desert island and they said you can have Bloomberg for free or your Twitter feed, I would take my Twitter feed. And I'm not being dramatic. I would. So right there, not only that it saves money, it's what I cultivated, and it's my universe. And by the way, not the
Organically is
well, it
the
does,
word
but
I was searching for.
organically, but not to pontificate. But like I said, I'm not here to teach people my style. You're not going to learn it exactly. Like I said, you could watch Tiger Woods swing until your eyes bleed for 24/7 for a week. You're not going to be able to do it. What we're doing is trying to give you the tools to formulate your own system. My system isn't better. I just happen to do my system better than maybe other people do their own systems. That's all. It's part of it.
Okay. All right. So, you have this curated list, and, I would say it would take people a long time if they were starting from point A right now, trying to develop a list like that, and they didn't know who to follow. So, I mean, that's a real service. I want to thank you on behalf of the community to, share a list like that. It's a curated list. That people need to know. If Mike Venezia is looking at this, you guys need to look at
That
what
is
he
true.
sees.
I will say that. I'm not saying what I trade or trade what I trade or go to my universe. At least from being 26 years in the business in a higher level, at least know where I get my ideas. I'm not saying to keep them because they're not. I'm not alone. And
I want to give you a tip. I want to give you a tip of the hat on avoiding miners.
Yes, sir.
Especially the gold and silver miners. I've asked you about them the last couple of weeks, and you looked at them and said, "Not for me." And they're under some pressure here. So maybe we're going to see new lows or right shoulder here or something.
Right now we're forming one of those proverbial triangles, and
yeah,
it's. I will say this though, and for one of the old guys, and I don't want to overuse that term. I'm glad of where we are, at least business wise. I don't know that age, but I'm starting to see that the more the mega caps are playing to technical levels more than the speculative ones. Obviously, speculative stocks like this, if it goes from 10 to 50, technical levels aren't really as prevalent, but
they don't
certainly
mean
when the GDX goes right to the 200-day and
yeah.
GLD makes a move, and bounces around and keeps testing and testing. And the third time it didn't break through, that was the key, to maybe take a little bit of caution. I'm not saying it was a short, but that made me to think that I didn't really care for the miners that much. Alcoa fit the bid. I mean, this one looked that shouldn't Alcoa, which is the proverbial best of breed, should not have won from 57 to 47 in that type of move that quickly after going like this for a year. So that alerted me as well.
Okay. Also, energy is in focus. We have an OPEC meeting on Thursday, and I know you follow both natural gas. OPEC would be more about the crude oil, WTI or Brent. You seen anything there that could, has this played out, and could we correct from here?
I'm going to tell you, Coach, and we have these conversations off camera. Well, about how I really took it. I'm still mentally back testing, if you will, about how, or if stocks lead the commodities or commodities lead the stocks. But I will tell you this. I mean, obviously I'm watching crude. There it is. And there's the other ETF for the sexier ones, Gush. But I watch Chevron, and, Chevron's becoming a little toppy here, and crude's been acting better than Chevron's been at. So when the market's making all-time highs, it was at least before we started this.
Yeah.
And crude is basically near the highs. I saw FANG, which is, by the way, the old FANG. Oh, that went back up. Well, that changes the story. I haven't looked at it. This stock reported earnings this morning, and this is, you can look at, this is FANG, which is one of the best oil companies or conglomerates out there, and the chart doesn't lie. And it's not because it's $114 stock. Compare it to most. And this had earnings today, and I saw this was down like three. See this, my charts? This stock opened at 111 today, and I saw it 108, and I said, all right, that might be that FANG being the best of breed, the stock being 108 this morning would have been down here, and that would have changed my mind. But Devon Energy yesterday was the best of breed, making new highs. SM, I was fighting short yesterday. I covered that unchanged for a loss. Now it's up 78 cents. It's going higher. I shorted that yesterday, if you remember on camera. I got out unchanged. Thank God.
How do you keep track of all of these positions, Mike?
Because I've been doing it for 25 years.
Okay, because I mean, your universe is pretty large. How many open positions do you have on the books right now? I know you did some liquidations before we got on the air, but on average, how many different shares do you usually have on?
Well, I have 3 active accounts. One is a portfolio management, which is I have certain rules that not certain rules that it's a boutique of investors that I take on. I don't short in the account, and I don't do options in the account. It's an only long account. That's my biggest account, and that position right now has about 8 to 12 positions in it. My active managing account right now has about 6 positions. I had about 8 positions in the morning. I'm trying to get down to nothing. And then I have an options account, which is predominantly options. Everything from speculative baby bios, if you will, maybe to something I think might be worth a gamma squeeze. Anything to saying that I like, maybe a couple of beaten down companies that I think have turnaround potentials that I might go a year out upon. So I have 3 active accounts. Yes, sir.
Okay, so on the option side, Mike, do you just buy puts and calls, or do you also take in some premium, or you just pretty much long puts when you're negative and long calls when you're positive?
No, I don't. It's just predominantly a long and short based. Mm-hmm. I don't like to do spreads or straddles. A couple of reasons why I haven't done them in a while. Secondly, I mean, it's hard enough being a very good active manager. I'll say that with, not pat myself in the back, and it's hard enough as it is. So God forbid what it would be like to build a successful straddle upon a complicated position. As I say, a million times before, I'll leave. I thank God, and it's not predicated upon this Twitter feed, but I have a couple of guys that I would go to that I would ask for advice that I wouldn't think twice upon. But the answer is really no. I try to stay simple. I don't really like to hedge. I have a couple of companies that I believe in, a company that shows relative strength. It's a mix. That's all. And I'll tell you one thing though, the mature thing I will say is I haven't been able to mix the streams. For example, I could be long something in one account and long options, short options in another account. And yeah, that's. But on app to answer something, and I was told that this might have changed. But from what I understand, and it's coming from one of the best out there, Schoenfeld, between 6 to 8 is the ideal, is where you have an edge on managing your line.
Okay, and do you have any kind of rules about how much time you buy when you're trading options, or are they kind of like 2-3 day trades, or sometimes longer? It depends.
I'll give you an example. I'll tell you what I'll get. I don't know why I'm being shy. Okay, I have calls on BLI. Hold on. I am bottom fishing, if you will, BLI. I have long-term call. I'll tell you what I have. I have April 65 calls on BLI. I believe in the company. I'm not saying it's a good trade. This is the line in the sand, that low right here, if you could see it.
Yeah.
This is 1963. I'm up in the position because once it started holding that and went with volume, I started building an April 65 call. Now it's relatively new. The stock was under a short bear report. I did my due diligence. It's not one of my bigger positions at all, but this is something I believe in. I'm also in this path. I'm in this in calls. By the way, these are.
So you're buying plenty of time. You're going out to April. So
well, this is in path. I'm in January.
Okay, so you give yourself a chance. It seems like I know personally when I bought a lot of time, it felt initially like a lot of time, and then After a month or so, I wish I had a little bit more.
No, no, no,
I
no.
could extend it a little bit.
No,
you
it's a
know?
listen, building an option position is more tedious than an equity position because you have
Yeah.
the premium involved and you never buy an option at the market. The ideal thing is to get a bid or lower than the bid. And if it's something I actually like building an options, long-term options. It's almost like building a business, if you will, instead of just buying 10,000 of something to try to offer out a half a point or a dollar higher. It's actually come somewhat fun to a degree.
Okay.
So I'm in path, but wait, hold on a second.
Yeah.
But the stocks that I believe in more in the short term, I have shorter term, HUT. I'm banging the table 1,000 times over this. I have
Okay.
short-term options in this. I have
All right.
short-term puts in DWAC, which as you saw, I just covered on. I'm probably going to cover, what is the stock now? 56. I shorted it nicely once it had the gap here at 58, 68. I'm going to try to cover 52. What else do I have positions in? I have long-term calls in AFRM, but I had it lucky. I was building it down here. I still have some calls and I started adding to it. This is probably an old video and it's probably working. I'm glad it's here because it looked to be a nice trade. I hope it holds this 147, but I have calls there. Now, maybe I'm gonna run before we walk. What would make me put an option position on as opposed to putting something in the long-term portfolio or even in the active management account? The bottom line is the active management account is more of a swing account where it's midterm moves. If I think something's going to pull a freakish gamma squeeze, I'll buy a 4-day in the money call. It's like there's no medium. There's no medium ground in the active account. Everything's either very short or very long. That's all.
Okay.
So I don't get biased.
Okay. All right. That's what I'm saying, Mike, that I think we're talking about something. In fact, I think we're getting near the end of the broadcast, and the question of the day, you didn't know the answer to it till we talked about it once before.
I didn't know the answer to. I just wanted to give Francis Stardy a chance to win 20. So he just moved into an apartment. He needs to. I'm going to give him a chance to move it. Yeah. So I gave him
some dishes.
Yeah. So
all right. So great talking to you again, Mike. Should be a rock and roll day with the Fed tomorrow. I guess I know macro's not your thing. It's mine.
Right.
And I think the market's looking for 10 to 15 billion of tapering when the Fed finally has their press conference. And if Paul wants to make a statement, he would go 20.
Okay.
And that's what I'm thinking. And OPEC, I don't know, they have the world by the short hairs.
Yes, they
they're
do.
going to be generous and increase production. What do you think?
I would say increase. I listen. I think it's going higher.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's not an opinion. It is an opinion. Like I said, it could be widgets, but if you give me every chart or everything to predicate it and cover up the symbol, I would say everything looks like it's going up. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, that covers most of the event risks that we have. I think Bank of England, you're not a British pound trader too, are you, Mike?
No, I leave that to, we have a professional here on that one.
Okay. So we'll see what happens with cable and the BOE.
Yes.
And the dollar and the commodity markets, how they react to the Fed. I'll be back tomorrow. Mike, thanks so much for hanging out with me today and sharing a great Twitter list that you make available to people. All they have to do is come in and check it out and take some photos, take some shots.
Yeah, and like I said, it's very simple. It's TradeGATEHub. I sign in the same as everybody else. People want to make money and have sexy ideas. We are talking a little bit advanced. Bottom line is go here with yesterday's movers and range. This is what you want to be in right here. This is the universe. It's the Twitter feed that I have, and it's this type of list, and it's this type of list, by the way, I put together, the team put together. It's the same list. Go to the top list, top US losers, go percentage change, CHGG and TRIT. There's nothing on here that's not on the other one. This is a good list. That's what we wanted to do, is everybody go here for once. So with that being said, I appreciate that, Coach. Have a good day. I'll be on tomorrow, Wednesday, 11:30, or actually, I'll be on 11. So everybody have a plan. We'll be on later and trade well. Thanks again, guys.
Okay, thanks very much, Mike. And tomorrow I'm going to be talking a little bit about RSI and how people don't use it correctly. And I'm going to be showing that to you guys. So good hunting. Remember, don't just count your pips or your shares or anything. Count your blessings. Adios, everyone.